Welcome to the WAC Podcast. Today's episode is presented by Hercules Tires. And now, here are your hosts, Eric Danner and Kendrea Sheehan.
Welcome back to the WAC Podcast. Kendrea Sheehan, Eric Danner, and we have another fabulous guest this week, Patrick Colbert, Senior Associate Commissioner for Internal Operations. Welcome to the WAC and welcome to our Denver headquarters.
Thank you.
What is it like to have been here?
It's great. It's great. It's been great to be integrated with the staff for a couple weeks now. It's finally nice to be able to be in the office, actually interact, other than the talking heads on Zoom. It's great to be able to talk to people, get to know everybody, have a feel of what everybody does, their different roles within the office. So it's been refreshing. The weather today, not living up to expectations, or actually living up to expectations.
December,
we're in Denver in
yeah.
December, so high expectations. But no, it's been great. Everyone's been so welcoming, and it's been a really a pleasure thus far.
I don't think I've seen rain since I've been here.
It's been a couple months.
Yeah.
This has been very unusual. But...
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
So Patrick, tell us a little bit about what brings you to the WAC. I know you worked for the American Athletic Conference most recently, and kind of what had you interested in coming here to the Western Athletic Conference?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I mean, professionally, it was kind of a no-brainer. It does a lot for me in terms of my involvement as a professional. But the WAC is an established league. It has been for quite some time. There's an opportunity for growth just with the never-ending realignment that we see across college athletics, and seeing what has been done to this point to make this league as good as it can be, and hitting some really top markets and bringing in some institutions academically, athletically, that can lend themselves to be, a top tier contributor. And I think we're always looking to strive for excellence and be a multiple bid league in multiple sports on an annual basis. And I think the steps have been made to help us do that. And I want to be a part of that. I want to be a small part of that. I want to be a big part of it, whatever, how I can be a cog in the machine, as you will. Obviously Brian, Brian was a great mentor for the 15, 16 months we worked together. It was a short time, but it was a long time because it was a COVID year.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time together, and it was great to get to know him as a person, as a professional. I know how he works. And when he got this position, you think things can go your way, but we had some really good conversations and how our partnership could kind of work. And that was kind of a no-brainer for me. So aside from just being immersed with a great staff, an established staff, that's, I think that the neat thing about before coming on board is kind of doing some research on the people that are here. Everybody mostly has been here for quite some time, and that lends itself, it tells me that people like to work here, and have an understanding of the core values of the member institutions, of how we like to attack things with our administrators. And just to be a part of that and come and team up with Brian to try to enhance as much as we can, was kind of something that really attracted to me, and hopefully I can, be a little part of it.
Well, we're excited to have you here. Now, one of the roles that you had at the American Athletic Conference was the tournament manager for the men's and women's basketball tournament, and you'll be in that same role for the WAC Vegas coming up, which is one of our biggest championships. Yeah. What are you looking forward to most about WAC Vegas this year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to really wrapping my arms around all the different things that go into these tournaments, because obviously I'm coming from the American, and there was a certain way of doing things, and a lot of it, don't get me wrong, is transferable to how we're going to be doing things this year and moving forward. And I think the most, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is having a normal tournament and getting back to getting fans in the building, how we can attack ticket sales, how we can attract locals, basketball fans, alumni bases in and around Vegas. It's a good spot. It's clearly where our membership wants to be. And I think we have the staff that is invested in putting on a great event for our student athletes. And I think, this year we're going to be in two different arenas. So that lends some challenges, but it also gives us some opportunity to collaborate with other leagues and see best practices on what they do, because obviously what they do affects what we do. And I think we've already had some really good conversations with some of the Vegas-based leagues that have their tournaments in Vegas. And I'm looking forward to continuing to collaborate, make sure that we're putting our best foot forward, and putting our staff in positions of success. I think the basketball tournament is a grind, and it's a long week. It's a challenging week, but it's also a week that you really bond with the staff. Let's be honest, you're spending a lot of time together. Got to take care of your feet. That's number one. And then number two, just putting people in positions where they can be comfortable and successful. And I think because, like you just said, this is probably our most prominent event with the most eyeballs on it in venue, externally, from television and ESPN Plus and all of that. So I think, I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. A lot of it is going to be observation for me this year and evaluating on how we can do things even better next year. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity and learning from the staff. They've been great, to coach me up, and I'm asking millions of questions, and it's probably going to get old soon, but I'm sorry, it's just going to happen. So it's been good.
We're talking with Patrick Colbert, our Senior Associate Commissioner for Internal Affairs, and talking about WAC Vegas. It's going to be different this year anyway. You're jumping on a moving train here starting in December, but the number of teams we're going to have this year going up to 10. The last year with a COVID year and with some transition, that type of thing, we had about half of that number. So one of the challenges, we're adding an extra day as well. So where do we stand as far as planning? It's only a few months away now.
I know, scary enough. I know. I think, like I said, we've been doing a lot of proactive collaboration with both the Pac-12 and the West Coast Conference, because on our first day of the tournament, we'll be at Mandalay Bay, and the Pac-12 will just be wrapping up. So a lot of moving parts there, but also at the same time, I think we're just trying to get ahead of things so that we have an understanding of how their setup's going to be, what kind of operational policies that they've got in place that can transfer to what we do, because we're trying the work smarter, not harder model with that, because there are a lot of moving parts. And obviously the prime part of our tournament will be at Orleans, and that's going to be our main focus, and we're really going to take that building over once we get through the first round. But we also are very cognizant that we want to give the same experience to those teams playing on Tuesday at Mandalay Bay. So a lot of it's collaboration. A lot of it is just trying to, basically make a laundry list of items that makes sense to transfer from arena to arena. We're going to make it really a kind of an open experience from a fan perspective. There's a lot of different questions as it relates to ticketing and credentialing and how you handle those sorts of things. But again, we're just trying to get a sense of what the leagues before us are doing, while also being able to brand that, Mandalay Bay to the best of our ability before transferring over to Orleans. So at the end of the day, everything we do is with the student athlete in mind. So I think we're just trying to get to a point where we're not letting them down in any sort of area, but we're in a really good spot. We're trying some new things, ticketing this year for the first time that I'm still learning about. So we're going to see how that goes at Orleans. But I think at the end of the day, we're gonna provide a good atmosphere. We're gonna have a lot of different in-game promotional efforts. Hopefully, still working with Clark County on what those protocols need to be or will look like in March. They're something now. They might be different, after the holiday break, which I know everyone is fearing after the kids come back from school, from vacation, excuse me. So a lot of different things going on, but I think we're making the right strides, having the right conversations.
Now, Patrick, you were a student athlete yourself, 4-year starter for the men's soccer team at Colby Sawyer College. Did you ever think that when you were going through school and now that this is where you'd be, did you want to get into athletic administration?
That's a good question. And so Colby Sawyer is a liberal arts school, and I chose that school on purpose because coming out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So part of that experience, my academic experience, was trying to kind of pave my road, and finding out that sport management degrees even existed was something that was kind of a home run for me. I had always, participated in sports. I mean, friends and I would make fake kickball leagues, and I would make schedules and And I loved it. And I didn't know that at the time, being a 15, 16-year-old, that you could make a career out of it. So when I found out that was something you could do, I jumped on it. And, where that degree took me, I didn't necessarily think it would be here. Conference office, campus, professional, amateur, whatever it may be. I kind of fell into it coming out of college. I got an internship at another league office, and I've been in a league office ever since. And I think that was a big part of the trust that Brian had in me to bring on board, because of all the different experiences at 4 different leagues, with different staffs, different memberships, and different ways of doing things. And it's definitely crafted my professional path. But no, I didn't see me being here today. I'm thankful, grateful to all the mentors I've had along the way. Without them, I don't really know where I'd be. So there's a lot of people that contributed to me being here today and working with you great people. But there was a lot of different questions, through my academic, career, through master's and undergrad, about how I really wanted to use those degrees. You're spending a lot of money on a piece of paper, right? Everybody knows that, but you want to make sure at the end of the day that it's going to bring value to you. So luckily, I'm grateful, and I know there's a lot of professionals out there maybe struggling with where their next steps are going to be. So, and that's part of what I like to do. And I know a lot of our staff is, mentoring and trying to get people in positions of success, and at least providing them, some opportunity to get to their next job. I think that's what it's all about. So, but without that support, throughout the way, I'm not sure where I'd be. So I'm thankful and grateful for that.
Well, you may have been commissioner of a kickball league, and I may or may not have been commissioner of a Muppet football league when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
I need to know more.
Experience goes way back.
I mean, there was a lot into that. So I hear.
Do you think you have those old tapes?
There's no tapes.
We'll
no.
find
no videos. But we had Brian Thornton, our new commissioner, sitting in that chair a few weeks back. And one of the things we talked a little bit about was the similarities maybe between the American Athletic Conference and the WAC, and specifically all the transitions, all the changes. And you've been through a lot of that. So I guess this is kind of old hat coming into the WAC with that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if you work at a conference office these days, you don't know what's coming at you from day to day. We had a lot of transition and in the American that started. I mean, I had a year at the Big East, and when the Catholic 7 schools split, from then on, I mean, it seemed like every other year we were adding, or schools were leaving. And, at that point, you kind of learn to deal with it, and you learn to work with your membership on, okay, this is what's going to happen. We don't know next steps in terms of when a school is leaving, when a school is coming in, who's coming in to fit, what markets are coming in. And, I think the interesting thing is working with so many different sport groups and coaches groups and administrative groups. Everyone has motives. And I think the biggest thing is trying to get the membership collectively on the same page as to, okay, we know this is going to happen. How are we going to move forward from it? Was a big piece, learning experience for me. And so nothing surprises me these days, but coming in, and learning about the different realignment, situations that have kind of come up here, I think they've already been addressed, and would continue to attack and be aggressive in other membership opportunities as we move forward, as they lend themselves. Because I think, coming from the American, that was kind of a philosophy is, you're never really going to say no without at least hearing somebody out. And I think we're always looking for that next opportunity to grow our league and make it easier for coaches to recruit, make it easier for ADs to want to be in the chairs that they are in our league, and not use it as a stepping stone. And that was another thing at the American that I think is, kind of translate here, is we want to make it the home, for people to want to work and be a part of moving forward. And a lot of that is developing a core membership that's stable. I think we're there. I think we're going to continue to enhance upon that. And, we've already had some great conversations, meetings with athletic directors. We have a meeting tomorrow with them to go over some big scheduling pieces moving forward, with obviously Incarnate Word coming in, which, is a great add, but it changes things, and we need to come up with some strategies. So it's, a lot of it is kind of old news for me, but it's always different, always challenging. But at the end of the day, that's what makes it exciting to work in the industry we are in. It also kind of teaches you how to adapt and be flexible and not sweat the small stuff, because you just never know what's going to happen next.
That is so true. Well, we're super excited to have you here, Patrick. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Patrick Colbert, our Senior Associate Commissioner for Internal Operations, joining us at the WAC headquarters in Denver. Voice cracking there.
Yeah.
Blame the weather, but
Yes, always.
thank you so much. And
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening on this episode of the WAC Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the WAC Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And check out our website at wacsports.com.